This video is brought to you by Osmocote, the planter's plant food.
Hi, I'm Marianne Binetti, and I have had some pretty good luck catching moles. So if moles are destroying your food crops, I mean, I do share my yard with the moles, but when they start destroying my blueberry plants and my strawberries, I have to take action. So this is what I've done. I've set a mole trap, and I've hidden it underneath this flower pot. So I'm pretty good at setting them by now. Let's see if I've caught anything. Whoa! Okay, you see how this is sprung? This is the safety, this is a scissor type trap. So you lift up and you see if you've got anything. And oh my gosh, look at this! Whoa! Now that is a beautiful mole that I've captured. Now, let me show you some tips now that I've captured this mole. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure he's dead. Usually I'll put him in a bucket for a couple of days or drown him because sometimes they kind of play possum. And then I would bury this mole right back into this runway that I just took him out of. Now the reason for that is if you do not rebury the dead mole into that same runway, another mole or a field mice or a vole, V-O-L-E, will come along and start using that runway that's already dug. But if we bury this mole into the runway, then nobody wants to use it because it stinks. So that's one little tip. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back to tell you how to set a mole trap. Hi, I'm Marianne Binetti, and now I'm going to show you how to set the mole trap into the tunnel. Now the first thing you have to do is find out where there's a runway. Now I'm looking in the lawn, I look along the edge of things, that's usually where you're going to find your runway. So I've determined there's a runway going right here, and then I feel around with my trowel, and when I feel this nice soft soil, okay, that tells me that there's a runway here, and I start digging, and sure enough, I can tell, once I dig, that there's a tunnel coming in. So you stick your hand in there, you can feel there's a tunnel right in there, and then you go directly across, see where the other end of the tunnel goes, right in there. So I know that this area in between these two holes is where the mole is going to run. Now I'm wearing gloves because I don't want any of my scent to be in this tunnel, but I'm taking out any rocks as well. Otherwise you catch rocks instead of catching moles. You move these rocks, and here's the secret. You make a little mound with fine soil that has no rocks in it. Okay, see this nice little mound? Kind of push it down a little bit, because now that makes the trigger very sensitive. I'm going to set my mole trap, it has the safety on, right on top of that mound. I'm going to push it down a little bit more so that the mole trap kind of straddles. See, I'm pushing it down carefully. It straddles the runway. So the mole goes in between those two scissor traps. Then I carefully fill in with the soil so the mole doesn't know that there's a trap coming up. Okay? And once I get it all filled in, okay, sometimes you got to place it really deep. Then I remove the safety. And now this is the important part. You want to keep kids, pets, and wildlife safe. You cover it with a heavy pot. And now, in a couple of days, I'll check this trap, and I might have another mole.